All right. Okay, so for today, we're going to continue our lesson, and we are done with the integrals of the six or of the trigonometric functions, along with the powers and product of some trigonometric functions. And then just to recall, no, so what you have to observe when given product of trigonometric functions, the sine and the cosine function, they should come along together on the integrand. The tangent should come along together with secant squared. The cotangent should come along together with the cosecant square. Okay, for today, we're going to discuss some integrals that will lead to inverse trigonometric functions. Particularly, say, I have I-18, where on this is the 18 formula, and we have a lot more. Integral of du all over the square root of a squared minus u squared. Okay, you have to take note that a is any element of real number, and this will give us arc sine u over a plus c. And for this particular lesson, I am requiring you to use capital letters to represent inverse trigonometric functions. And we have discussed the reason during our differential calculus class. No? I have mentioned why I preferred to use capital letters to represent inverse trigonometric function. And then we have I-19, the integral in du over a squared plus u squared, okay? And this is equal to 1 over a arc tangent u over a plus c, okay? And one more, you take a look on the denominator, that's a squared plus u squared. Since that is preceded by the plus sign, so you can interchange since, commutative, commutative property is closed under addition. So meaning you can also express this as u squared plus a squared. And that will still give you 1 over a arc tangent u over a plus c. And then the third one is the integral du all over u times the square root of u squared minus a squared. Again, a is element of real number. And this will give you 1 over a arc secant u over a plus c. Okay? So you might say, this is the first three, no? You might ask, sir, where's the integral that will give us an arc cosine, an arc cotangent, an arc cosecant? So when you notice that the integrand for number I-18 includes the minus sign on it, so that's negative du over the square root of a squared minus u squared. This will give you the arc cosine u over a plus c. And similarly, for I-19, when you notice the minus sign, okay, of the form negative du all over a squared plus u squared, or u squared plus a squared, this will give you 1 over a arc cotangent u over a plus c. Let me just remind everyone again, if you use small letters, I will discredit you for using small letters, and that will not represent, inverse trigonometric functions. If you use small letters for, say, for example, cosine. So if you use small letters, cosine raised to negative 1, I would interpret it as 1 over cosine, or that is secant, okay? But again, let me just not generalize it. It's not a universal, there's a universal, there's an academic discussion on what notation shall be used for the inverse trigonometric function. Will it be small letters or capital letters? Okay, but for the purpose of this discussion, and I will allow you, and I will encourage you, and I will require you to use capital letters just to deviate it from the reciprocal identities. And I-23, so that's negative du over the u, the square root of u squared minus a squared. And that's 1 over a arc cosecant u over a plus c. Okay? So for, you have to take note that a is element of real number for all the set of formula here. Okay? So how to use the formula? Again, it's just pattern. No? So what you need to do when you change the variable from x, from y, from z to u, you just have to make sure that it will follow any of this form. Okay? let me just remind again, you can just ignore this I 21, 22, 23, and you can just focus on these three formulas. You can just memorize this three because, if there's negative, you put the minus sign here, okay? You put the minus sign here, and that will mean arc cosine u over A. Uh, to verify the formula, okay, you can just differentiate this 3, and if the derivative of this is found on the left side, then you got it correctly. And I will just leave it for you to verify. So please, after the session, you try to differentiate the right side, and you have to make sure that the derivative can be found on the left side. Okay. For some example, let's take a look on the integral of dx all over the square root of 4 minus x squared. Okay. So what are you going to do is to look for your u square and your a square. Let u square is the variable expression where a squared is the constant term. That would be x squared, and then a squared, obviously, there's no other term naman other than 4, so that would be your a squared. And then you take the square root of this equation. You have square root of u squared is u, square root of x squared is x, square root of a squared is a, and square root of 4 is 2. So, di ba, ano siya? Plus, minus. We will disregard the negative root now. So, we'll just only consider the positive root since that's inside the square root. And then from here, you differentiate your u, and that will give you x, dx. And then we change the variable. You know that dx is du all over the square root of a squared, that is your 4, minus x squared is your u squared. Okay? So what did you notice? It's already in I-18. Okay? Diba? It's already in I-18. So you have arc sine u over a plus c. And then you write it back to the original variable by changing u and a, and that will give you arc sine x over a plus c. And that's x over 2 plus c. Okay? Next item. This time, take a look on dy all over y squared plus 81. Okay? So we might see there's no square root, diba? There's no square root. So among these three, only I-19 does not contain a square root. So probably it might lead to arctangent, inverse tangent. However, if this is minus, even if there is no square root on the denominator, but the middle term is preceded or the last term is preceded by minus sign, it will not still give you an arctangent. And that's another story to tell. Okay? So from here, you can let u be equal to y squared, and a squared is 81. Again, taking the square root of this, u is y, and a is 9. The square root of 81, sorry. And then du, differentiating, so you'll have dy. Then you change the variable. dy, that's your du, over y squared, that is your u squared, plus 81, that is your a squared. And this will give you 1 over a arctangent u over a plus c. Okay? And you change the variable from u to x. So that's 1 over 9 arctangent u over 9 plus c. That's y over 9 plus c. Okay? Let's take a look on this example. This time, I'll be working on the arcsecant. Then after this, I'll give you another form. So these are just, very basic that even when you look on the form, you can easily give an answer. Like this one, no? You take the square root of 81, that's 9. And you take the square root of y squared, that's y. And then there's dy in front. So that's 1 over 9, 1 over square root of 81. Arctangent is square root of y squared over square root of 81. So that would be 1 over 9 arctangent y over 9 plus c. Anyway, for this particular set of examples, I will teach you how to easily identify whether an integral will lead to an inverse trigo or not. No? You just have to listen very carefully. So this time we have dx all over x, the square root of x squared minus 5. Sir, this is 5 and it does not have a perfect square root, or it does not, you cannot extract the perfect square root of 5. Unlike 81, the square root is 9. Unlike 4, the square root of 2. But then again, let me just tell you, no, for this example, allow me to tell you that that a is not always a perfect square. It could be fraction or it could be any number. No? It could be any number because lahat naman ng number has a square root. But most of the numbers, hindi perfect. Walang perfect square root. But still, we can extract the root. No? So in this case, you can let u be equal to, or u square, be equal to x squared, and a squared is 5. Okay? And then u is equal to x, and du is dx. And also a, take the square root of that would be square root of 5. Then we change the variable. 1 by 1, term by term. Dx, that's du. Over x, that's u. X squared, u squared, minus 5a squared. So, can you see this now of the form I-20? Yeah, that will give you an arcsecant. So that's 1 over a arcsecant u over a plus c. And then we write it back to the original variable. I hope you can still hear me and I hope you're still listening. That's 1 over square root of 5 arcsecant u, that's x, over a, that's square root of 5, then plus c. And then to simplify this, but you can stop here. If this is given in a multiple type of exam, you can stop here. You can just look on the choices. But if you did not see this, you can express it of this form. By rationalizing the denominator, you'll have square root of 5 over 5. You still remember how to rationalize? You just multiply both the numerator and denominator by this square root of 5. Okay? So that's why you have square root of 5 over 5, arcsecant, square root of 5x all over 5, and then plus c. Okay? So let's take into another set of example wherein you will observe that this x squared is no longer just x squared na. So pwede din siyang ganito. 4. Integral of, say, dy all over the square root of 7 minus 2y squared. Okay? So we might see, sir, there's a square root on the denominator and there's minus sign, and the constant term comes first before the variable or before the expression. So, sir, baka it might lead to arc sign of the form arc sign, you take the square root of this, square root of 2, y over, you take the square root of this, square root of 7, and then plus c. Let's see what will happen. When you let u square be equal to 2y square, and then when you let a squared equal 7, clearly, you can see that u is square root of 2y, all right? And then a is square root of 7, and then du is square root of 2 dy. Okay? But there's only dy here, so you have to remove this square root of 2. So 1 over square root of 2 du is dy. And then we now change the variable. Then I will ask you what happened here. No? So what is the difference on the process on number 4 and from the examples 1, 2, 3? Okay? So you have integral of dy, that is 1 over square root of 2 du all over the square root of 7 minus 2y squared. So that's in 1 over square root of 2 integral of du all over the square root of a squared minus u squared. Integrating, you have 1 over square root of 2 arc sign u over a plus c. And then you write it back to the original variable. 1 over square root of 2 arc sign u, that's square root of 2 y over square root of 7, okay, plus c. And you can rationalize. You can stop here, but you can rationalize. Multiplying this by square root of 2 over square root of 2. So you'll have square root of 2 over square root of 4. Or 2. Square root of 2 over 2, arc sign, u, you can rationalize by multiplying square root of 7 over square root of 7. Square root of 7 times square root of 2 is square root of 14. You can cut me off if I'm speaking a little faster. You call my attention. Square root of 14y over 7 plus c. So what did you notice? Sir, kulang po tayo dito ng 1 over square root of 2. Okay? So where is that 1 over square root of 2 came from? Galing siya dito. Dito sa 2 na to. Okay? So you will observe here na wala, 'di ba? Kasi 1 yun. 1 to. Yan yun. And you know that 1, the square root of 1 is still 1. Kaya you might notice na walang coefficient dito sa unahan. Okay? Hindi siya galing sa formula. It does not came from the formula, but it came from the process, no, of getting the derivative of your u. So let me give you another example. 5. Integral of dz all over the square root of 100 minus 4x squared. Okay. Following this method, can you, but x, it should be z squared. Using this method, and if you were able to get what I am sharing with you, you can easily give the answer here. So that will give you an arc sign. Because 100, it comes first before 4z squared. So that would be arc sign square root of 4z squared, that's 2z, over square root of 100, that would be 10, all right? Plus c, ang poproblemahin nyo na lang is the coefficient in front. So what would that be? You just take the square root of 4z squared, that's 2z, that's 2. You take the reciprocal of that. So 1 over 2 arc sine 2z over 10. And then you can just simply get the lowest term of 2 over 10. Okay? Let me show you by substitution. We have u square is 4z square. Then u is 2z, du is 2dz. And you see on the numerator, there's dz alone. So you have 1/2 du is dz. And then you now have integral of 1/2 du over the square root of a squared minus u squared. So that's 1/2 arc sine u over a plus c, and that would be 1/2 arc sine u, that's 2z, over a, that would be 10 plus c. And then, getting the lowest term. So you have 1/2 arc sine z, 2 over 10, so that's 1 over 5. Yeah. Plus c. All right? 6. And that also apply for tangent. No? Say dx all over 5x squared plus say 20. Okay, sige, okay lang. 25. What do you think is the answer? Without substitution, you just take a look and you try to solve it on your mind. That would be what? Can I hear someone? Before I show you the detailed solution with substitution. I'm just trying to identify whether you can easily figure out alin nga ba dyan yung U, alin nga ba dyan yung A, okay? And then how it is written on the formula. Okay. Gawan, you are?
Sir Ramirez po.
Oh.
Sir, 1 over square root of 5 arctan tapos square root of 5x over 5 plus c, sir.
One more? 1 over square root of 5
arctan tapos po square root of 5x over 5 plus c.
Plus c. There's something missing.
Sir, may yung 1 over a, sir. Yung 1 over
a. Ito, 5. That's 1 over 5 square root of 5 arctangent square root of 5x all over 5 plus c. Let's do it. Say u square is equal to 5x square. U is the square root of 5x. Du square root of 5 dx. Kaya there's 1 over square root of 5 there. That's 1 over square root of 5 du equals dx. And then you have u a squared is 25, then a is 5. Okay? So you now have 1 over square root of 5 integral of. Ito, yun. That's dx kasi. So that's dx. So that will become du over, this is your u square, plus a squared. Okay? Clearly, this is an arctangent. You have 1 over square root of 5. There's 1 over a. Arctangent, u over a plus c. Then by substitution, you'll get this. Okay? You replace a by square root of 5 and you replace u by square root of 5x. Okay? When you rationalize this, what happened? Square root of 5 over 25. No? When you rationalize this one. Square root of 5 over 25. Okay. Another one, 6, 7. You follow me on the next board. I'm on page 2, 7. I'll go on with secant. So alam niyo na yung sunod, it's secant. Say dx over x, the square root of 7, sige, x squared minus 16. Okay? Mag-use substitution tayo. U equals 7x squared, and that is your u squared. Then u is square root of 7x, and you know that du is square root of 7 dx. Pwede namang diretso na. You may not write this. If you're, if you already know the process, you can just readily take the square root of this 2 and let it be u and then let it be a. It's okay. Kahit wag yun lang isulat yung u square. Okay? And then you know that a square is equal to 16 and you know that a is equal to 4. Okay? But you can just see this dx. Alright? So you have 1 over square root of 7. Du is dx. Then we change the variable. Integral of dx 1 over square root of 7 du all over. This is x alone. Diba? That's x. So what are you going to do? So you need to manipulate this. Okay? So you only have x, so you have u over square root of 7, and that would be x. So u over square root of 7. Square root of, what is 7x squared? U squared minus 16 a squared. Right? Sir, parang hindi naman po yan yung parang hindi naman po yung I-20. Because when you go back with I-20, sir, di ba? That's only u. There's no constant on the denominator. Di ba? Parang hindi naman siya, sir, yung yung I-20. Take a look at that. Okay? So that's u over square root of 7. But then again, you know that square root of 7, that's constant, and you can easily play along with that item. Na? So ito, pwede kong ilagay sa taas. You shall have 1 over square root of 7, then times the integral of, or pwedeng itapon nyo sa labas. Kaya lang, when you throw it out, dapat nasa sa ibabaw. Times square root of 7. Integral of du, then you can now clearly see the pattern. U square root of u squared minus a squared. Okay? And this is square root of 7, galing siya dito sa u over square root of 7. Okay? Kasi, this u square root of 7 na to will be written on the numerator when simplified. So this is now equal to, this can be cancelled out, 1 over a arc secant u over a plus c. And then that's 1 over 4 arc secant u, what is our u? U. Square root of 7x. All over a, and that would be 4, yeah, and then plus c. And you're done. Okay? Let's take a look onto another form. Hold on. Let's have to tie this curtain. So what if there is an x on the numerator? Let me modify yung number 1 or kahit yung number 2. There's an x here. Dx all over, what's number 1? The square root of 4 minus x squared. Okay? Or yung number 2, it's 4 plus x squared. Or x squared plus 4. Okay? Will this give you an arctangent? Or will this give you an arcsecant? Or arcsine? Diba? Pag wala yung x, it's an arcsine. Pero pag may x, what will this give you? Can you think about it? Will this give you an inverse trigo function, particularly arctangent? Any comments? Can I hear your thoughts?
Sir, opo.
Opo? You think? Opo?
Sir, opo, sir. Sir,
Sure?
kagaya ng example na tinuro niyo doon sa YouTube, sir.
Sure? This is x squared, this is x squared, and this is x. So this will only give you 1 over a ln 4 plus x squared plus c. How? I'll give you the form. Don't worry. I'll give you the form. So when you let u be equal to 4 plus x squared, meron akong pupuntahang form na to. Kaya ako binigay ito sa inyo para when you encounter this one, hindi nyo agad siya aakalain na magbibigay sa inyo ng arctangent. Okay? I'll give you the form later on. I'll just have to show you this. When you let u be equal to 4 plus x squared, but I appreciate your participation. So that would be 2x dx. Can you see that x dx? What did I tell you about ln? Diba sabi ko sa inyo, when the derivative of the denominator can be found on the numerator, it will give you an ln. In this case, that's 2x dx, so you will just ignore 2. 1/2 du is x dx. So this will give you 1/2 du over u. 1/2 ln of u plus c, and it will give you 1/2 ln of 4 plus x squared plus c. Now, if you want this form going to arctangent, ganito dapat siya. And this is another set of example.
Sir, magiging x raised to 4, sir.
Yun. Magiging siyang x raised to 4. If there's x here, and then it will become an inverse tangent if the power of x on the denominator is x raised to 4. And that's a good observation. Okay? And then, you can now let u square be equal to x to the 4. So what am I telling you? Yung pala, sir, sa formula na u squared, hindi naman po pala lagi siyang u squared. Hindi po lagi siyang x squared. Hindi po lagi siyang y squared. Hindi po lagi siyang z squared. Okay? It could also be any power, 4, 6, 8, 10. Alright? Pwede ding 3. You think pwede ang 3? What do you think? Sir, 3 naman is not even na. Diba? What do you think? Pwede? Hindi. I'll give you an example like that later on. But what I want to tell you is that if there's an x here, so you have to look on the power of x here. So if this is 2, it will not give us an arctangent. Okay? So I am not just only referring to an arctangent form, ha? So kapag may nakita kayong ganito, so papunta siyang arcsine. So still, ang combination ng powers nyo are 1 and 4. Okay? Let me explore on that. Let us explore here. If this is 6, what's the power of x here? To make it arcsine. Going to arcsine, ha? Going to arcsine. If it's 4, it should be 1. If this is 6, this should be 2. If this is 8, this should be 3. If this is 10, this should be 4. Sir, how did you know? Ganito lang siya. 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then you subtract 1. So, dapat ito ay 2. Alright? Ito, tanyo to. 4. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then you subtract 1. So, dapat ang power niya sa taas is 1. 2 for you to have an arctangent. Okay? You have to be very, very sensitive on this form kasi merong mga form na hindi nagbibigay sa inyo ng arctangent, and there are forms na hindi naman talaga pang inverse trigo. It may lead to another, probably power formula lang or ln in the case of arctangent. No? More of this on the next set of example. But you just have to be very, very sensitive on the powers of your variable inside the integral symbol. Okay, so you have u is equal to x squared. Can you see that one? Du is 2x dx, which we have seen on the numerator. So 1/2 du is x dx. So you know na that a squared is 4. You may not write this. Okay, you have integral of x dx all over 4 plus x to the 4. Right? That's 1/2. You take a look on the board, and you keep, you have to be very, very attentive on what I'm saying, because I'm telling something that is different from what I'm writing. Okay? Dalawa 'yon. Makinig ng mabuti and then tingin sa board ng mabuti, because I want to show you kung ano yung pinapalitan ko at kung ano yung ipinapalit ko. Okay, so that's 1/2 integral of du over a squared plus u squared, and this will give you 1/2 1 over a arctangent u over a plus c. So you'll have 1/2 times 1/2, 1 over 2, that's a, arctangent u, that's x squared, over a plus c. So that would be 1/4. 1/4, then arctangent u over a plus c. Okay, another form. 9, 10. Integral of, sige, dun tayo sa sign. Say 2x squared dx all over the square root of 5 minus x to the, this is 2. This must be
6.
6. Okay, that's 2x squared dx all over the square root of 5 minus x to the 6. Can you guess an answer? It will give you an arc sign. Before I show you the detailed solution. That would be what? Okay, that should be arc sign. Isipin nyo na lang kung ano yung coefficient sa unahan. That should be arc sign x cubed. Yung arc sign, walang 1 over a sa unahan, ha? X cubed over square root of 5 plus c. And ano yung kulang sa unahan? Oh, obviously, you have 2 kasi 2 yun. Then yung denominator na lang. What would be the denominator? That is 3. Kalahati ng 6. Okay, let me show you. U square x to the 6. A square is 5. U x cubed. A 5 square root of 5, sorry. And then du is 3x squared dx. Anong meron tayo sa taas? 2x squared dx. You just ignore that 2 kasi you can copy it out. And then 1/3 du is x squared dx. 1/3. Okay? And then kinopya lang yung 2 sa unahan. Then you have Integral of 2x squared dx. So that's 2/3 du. 2x squared dx is 2/3 du. And then you have square root of 5, that's a squared minus x to the 6. That's your u squared. All right, so you have 2/3 arc sine u over a plus c. When you change u and a, you'll have this. Right? Okay na tayo dyan. Another modification. Say dx all over square root of e to the x minus 36. O what? Ano nangyari? There's an e function. What did I tell you about an e function? When there's an e function on the integrand, what do you need to secure? What do you need to have along with dx? Question muna. Based on the formula, saan papunta ang given na yan? Is it I 9, 18, 19, or 20? Take a look on the given. And ito yung mga formulas. And then, analyze mabuti kung saan papunta.
I-18 po, sir.
You sure? Sa I-18, tingnan natin ha, sa I-18, nauna yung constant kesa sa dun sa expression. Pero ito, nauna yung expression, e to the x, bago yung constant. So probably hindi siya I-18. You see that one? Okay? Yan yung sinasabi ko sa inyo ha. Kapag ito'y minus, hindi pwedeng mabaliktad. Okay? So ito yung arc sine, I-18. Ba't ba mahaba yun? Baka ma-misinterpret nyo na. Sorry, I had just have to. Bubulahin ko lang yan. Baka ma-interpret nyo na negative. So, hindi na pwede yung I-18 kasi nauna yung expression, yung variable kesa sa constant. Okay? Hindi rin pwede I-19. Tama? Kasi wala namang square root. Ang I-19, wala tong square root. Ito meron. So, probably hindi na siya I-19. What about I-20? You think pwede? Yes, no?
Sir, wala yung sa unahan.
Wala yung sa unahan. Pwede ko naman dagdagan. Di ba? So, that would be I-20. Ganito siya. Di ba sabi ko sa inyo, whenever there's an e function, si dx dapat may katabing e function. So, in this case, you have e to the x minus 36. So, there's an e function here. So, dapat si e to the x merong katabi sa, si dx must go along together with that same exponential function. In this case, that's e to the x. Okay? So, I write e to the x here, so I must do it also on the denominator. So, it might look like this. Kasi, there's already e to the x outside the square root. You get my point? Okay? And let me continue. So, what do I want to tell you about this? I just want to tell you that you can manipulate the given as long as you can pattern it out. You can write it of any of the form 18, 19, or 20. Okay? This is just equal to, 1 over 6. 1 over 6 arc secant u over 6. That's e to the x plus c. So, alam nyo na yan. Pag binigay ko yung answer, alam nyo na agad kung ano yung u ko. My u squared is, this is 2x pala, sorry. This is 2x. Sorry. That's e to the 2x. My u squared is e to the 2x. I missed that one. Sorry. That's e to the 2x. And then you notice that u is e to the x. All right? So when you take the derivative of u, that's du. And when you get the derivative of e to the x, that's e to the x dx, which you can see it right here. Okay? And then a square is 36 and a is 6. And then you now have integral of e to the x dx, that is your du, over e to the x, that is your u, the square root of e to the 2x, that is your u squared, minus 36, that is your a squared. Okay? So nasa form siya ng arcsecant. So that's 1 over a arcsecant u over a plus c. And that would be 1 over a arcsecant u over a and plus c. So that's 1 over 6 arcsecant e to the x plus 6 plus c. Okay? You can just open your microphone if you have question. 12. Integral of this one. Cosine of x all over 4 plus sine squared of x. What do you think is the answer? This will give you an arctangent. That would be what? Kasi if I let a squared be equal to 4, u squared is equal to sine squared x. When you take the square root, I have a, which is 2. I have u, which is sine x. When I differentiate this, I have du. And sine x is cosine of x dx. Okay, and you see it right there. Integral of du over a squared plus u squared. And that's an arctangent. 1 over a arctangent u over a plus c. And then you'll have 1 over a arctangent u, that's, what's that? Sine x, sorry. Sine x over 2, then plus c. So that's 1 over 2 arctangent of sine x over 2 plus c. 13. Ano pa ba? Ito yung naiwan natin dun sa ln. And this is what I'm about to share with you dun sa ln function. Pero, na hindi ko sinolve sa inyo kasi hindi siya pang ln pala. When I realized na siya ay pang inverse trigo. Yan. That's e to the x plus e to the negative x. There are two ways on how to deal with this problem. No? So there are two ways. Ano ba yung tinuro ko sa inyo dito? That's 1 plus e to the negative x. Okay. Di ba, minumultiply natin ito ng e to the x over e to the x. So that this will lead us to ln of 1 plus e to the x. E to the x plus c. Okay. Yan yon. So this time, when you also multiply this by e to the x, so mamimili lang kayo. What would be my multiplier? Is it e to the x or e to the negative x? Let's try the solution 1, wherein I have to multiply this by e to the x. I hope you can still follow. I will be using blue one. Okay, so integral of dx all over e to the x plus e to the negative x. You multiply this by e to the x, and let's see what will happen. And you'll have integral of e to the x dx all over e to the x times e to the x is e to the 2x plus e to the x times e to the negative x is e to the 0, and that would be 1. So what did you notice now? It will lead us to what? What? Anyone? Okay? Obviously, hindi siya I-18 because there's no square root here. There's no square root here. And hindi rin siya ay 20. Kasi, bukod sa wala ng square root, wala pa yung a function sa labas. Like number 11. Okay? So probably, it would lead us to arctangent. Right? Any comment? You agree with me? Disagree?
Sir, agree po.
Dayan, sir. Naka-answer, sir. Sorry. Okay. Let me just show you in details. You have u square is e to the 2x. A square is 1. U e to the x. Du e to the x dx. Then a is 1. Figure it out. E to the 2x, sorry, e to the x dx all over e to the 2x plus 1. Then it's of the form du over u squared plus a squared. And that's 1 over a arctangent u over a plus c. And it just so happened that a is 1. No? So you have 1 over 1 arctangent u over 1 plus c. So that's arctangent e to the x plus c. Okay, you do the same thing for the next method wherein you're to multiply na, dx over e to the x plus e to the negative x. Ang multiplier natin is e to the negative x over e to the negative x. And this is your solution number 2. Then what is the result? That's integral of e to the negative x dx all over e to the negative x times e to the x. It's e to the 0, and that would be 1, plus e to the negative x times e to the negative x. It's e to the negative 2x. Okay? Can you give me the answer by following the same thing? Can you do that the same process? Nawal?
Sir, negative arctangent EX po plus C.
What?
E raised to negative EX. E
Right.
raised to negative X po plus C.
Okay, who are you?
Dumas po, sir.
Okay, thank you. Again, lupus, no? Ah, what's your surname again?
Dumas po, sir.
Sorry?
Dumas po.
Ah, sorry. sorry. Okay, so you have negative arctangent e to the negative x plus c. Okay? Again, you let u be equal to e to the negative x because your u squared is e to the negative 2x. So your u is e to the negative x. Du is e to the negative x, derivative of negative x, negative dx. And you see it right here. But there's no negative in front. Kaya, negative du yun. And then you know that a squared is equal to 1 and a is equal to 1. Okay, so nasa form na kayo ng integral of negative du over a squared plus u squared. Okay, and that will give you negative 1 over a arctangent u over a plus c, and you will have this. All right, let's take another form. I have a lot of form here. Number ano na tayo? 17. Any question muna before I present to you another form of examples?
Sir, wala na po, sir. Pero sir, pwede ka pong Paulit po sir nung number 10 sir. Ay ang sir recent na example. May bumili lang sir kanina ng yellow ay hindi ako nakapanood.
Okay. May bumiling yellow.
Oo sir.
At aling step dito, yung kulay blue or yung kulay green?
Sir, simula po dun sir sa kulay blue. Tapos sir yung green na hindi ko na naintindihan. Gawa hindi ko po nabutan yung blue.
Alright. Oh, hold on. And when you were given an exponential function, you have observed on number 10, where am I? That there is an e to the x and e to the negative x on the denominator. Okay? So what you're going to do, there are two ways on how to do that. One is to multiply it by e to the x over e to the x, as if you are multiplying 1, diba? You're multiplying 1 to the function. And when you multiply,
Bakit po hindi ito the negative x ang i-multiply?
that's another technique. That's another
Ah.
method. That's another solution. Yun
Sige
yung
po,
kulay
sir.
green. Yun yung
Apo,
hindi
sir.
mo naabutan, yung kulay green.
Opo.
Okay? So, but you can do it, no? So, an immediate response kasi is when you see this given, we tend to avoid the negatives. That's what, because sometimes we forgot to write the minus sign, we forgot to copy the minus sign, kaya minsan nagkakamali tayo ng answer. Ay, nakalimutan ko yung negative. Okay? So that's why initial response here is you take into consideration the positive. So when you multiply this by e to the x, okay? So you'll have integral of e to the x dx all over e to the 2x plus 1. Okay? How come? That's e to the x times e to the x, that's e to the 2x. Then e to the x times e to the negative x, that's e to the 0. And you know that e to the 0 is 1. Okay? Oh, stop it. And then, you can now let u be equal to your u squared is equal to e to the 2x, and a squared is 1. And then when you take the square root of all of this, you have u, e to the x, and then differentiate du is e to the x dx. And taking the square root of a squared, you have a and 1. Okay? And then by change of variable, you now have this. E to the x dx is your du all over. E to the 2x is your u square, and 1 is your a squared. So clearly, this is an arctangent. So that gives you 1 over a arctangent u over a plus c. And then change the variable. It just so happened that a is 1, kaya biglang mawawala yung 1 over a. 1 over 1, okay, arctangent, u, that's e to the x, over 1 plus c. Okay? And then ito yung pangalawa. Why not po e to the negative x? Ito na yan. We try to multiply e to the x as e to the negative x by e to the negative x over e to the negative x. Okay, and what will happen? So you just copy the numerator, e to the negative x dx, and then you multiply, you introduce this e to the negative x each term here. E to the x times e to the negative x, that's e to the 0, and that's 1. You know that e to the 0 is 1. Then plus, when you multiply this 2, so you just simply add the powers, so that's negative 2x. Okay, so your classmate gave an answer, negative arctangent, e to the negative x plus c. And this is how it is obtained. U square is negative 2, e to the negative 2x, therefore u is e to the negative x. Then you differentiate, du is e to the negative x, derivative of negative x is negative dx. And what do you see on the numerator? Yeah, there's only e to the negative x dx, and that will give you negative du. Okay? And that's e to the negative x dx. And then obviously a squared is 1 and a is 1. The change of variable, e to the negative dx, e to the negative x dx is negative du over 1, that's a squared, plus e to the negative 2x is u squared. Integrate, negative 1 over a, arctangent u over a plus c. And then write it back to the original variable, you got the answer, negative arctangent 1 arctangent e to the negative x plus c because a is 1. You'll have here 1 over 1 e to the negative x over 1. Okay?
Sir, gets po. Sir, pwede sir gamitin parehas yun, sir, pag kunwari, yung
It's
ganun
up
pong
to you.
exam.
Mamili na lang kayo ng isa.
Apo.
Hindi ko naman i-record na lahat ng solution, di ba? Meron akong example doon sa Trigo na we solve it in 3 solutions. I just want to show you how this is solved, no? You can do this, you can do that, so that you can easily identify the process that you cannot do on this form, no? So ito yung mga process na hindi nyo pwedeng gawin kapag binigay yung mga forms na ganito. That's why, as you can notice, yung set of examples ko are grouped into similar kind, na, di ba? Hopefully, napapansin niyo yun at na-appreciate niyo yun, di ba? Yung mga example natin nakagrupo, like our first set of example, just a simple direct substitution from the formula. And then, I tend to modify it, wherein, you observe here, this is x squared alone, y squared, x squared, and then on the next set of example, nilagyan ko na siya ng coefficient. 2 y squared, 4z squared, 5x squared, so that you will know what are you going to do pag binigyan ko kayo ng ganyang form. Then yung next example natin, ganun din. And then pagdating dito, sa number 8, number 9 particularly, so bigla nang tumaas yung power. So naging 4. And then ito yon. Buti naalala ko to. Yung tinatanong ko sa inyo kanina, pwede po bang x raised to the third power? You think about it. What number are we? 17. Eh? Ano ba number na? 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Integral of, I will write dx first, all over, dun ako sa side, square root of 36 minus x cubed. Pag ito ay x square, what technique are you going to use? What method? What formula? Where will it lead you? If this is x squared and this is x cubed, saang formula siya papunta? Obviously, hindi sa inverse trigo, right? Hindi sa arc sine. Okay? Saan siya papunta? Sa I4, power formula. Tama? Yung u to the n du. Sir, how come? Naka-square root. Di ba yung n natin, pwede naman siyang 1/2, 1/3, 2/3, 2/5, di ba? Pwede din siyang negative. Because when you let u be equal to 36 minus x cubed, and then du is negative 3x squared dx. So negative 1/3 du is x squared dx. And you see that x squared dx, so negative 1/3 du over square root of u. So when you integrate that, so you have u raised to 2, so this will become negative 2/3. Negative 2/3 is square root of negative 2/3 square root of 36 minus x cubed plus c. That's the integral of that. Okay? So, sir, kailan siya magiging Kailan siya magiging inverse trigo? Kapag ganito yung form. 15. Integral of square root of x dx all over square root of 36 minus x cubed. Yan. So you look at here. When you let u squared equals x cubed, and then u is, you take the square root, x raised to, what's the square root of x cubed? Kasi baka pag binigay ko ito sa inyo, hindi nyo nasabihin, ay, hindi po yan kasama dun sa inverse trigo. But you have to verify first. What is u? If u squared is x cubed, what is u? X raised to? Hey.
3/2 po.
3/2 po. Okay, that's x raised to 3 halves. When you differentiate this, what is the result? 3 halves x raised to 1 half dx. And you see it right there. Diba? That's x raised to 1 half. So that's 2/3 du is square root of x dx. That's x raised to 1 half. So ano nang form to? 2/3 square root of x dx is 2/3 du over the square root of 36, that is your a squared, minus x cubed, that is your u squared. So what am I telling you is that itong power ng x sa ilalim is not always even. It could also be negative, it could also be odd, but you have just to make sure what is written on the numerator. Okay? Then you now have 2/3 arc sine u over a plus c. So you have 2/3 arc sine, what is our u? X raised to 3 halves over a, which is 6 plus c. Sorry, hindi ko na nalagay dito yung a ha, where a is 6. Okay? Question 16. Say dx all over the square root of x, could it be possible? Wait lang nga. Minus 4. Wait lang. I just have to inspect. Sige. Posible. Oh, hold on. No. This should be x. That's dx all over x, the square root of x minus 4. So you will observe here na hindi siya, sige. Kung ito ay 2, okay, madali lang. Kasi readily you can give an answer 1 over a arc secant u over a plus c. I hope you are still with me. I hope you can see what I see. Pero kung hindi na siya 2, so papunta siya saan? Kung siya ay 1. Dapat when you study, you try to explore on my given when you study these examples. Explore niyo pa siya ng explore para lang para lang ma-practice yung inyong mindset na sa mga different forms, sa mga forms niya. Like this one, minodify ko lang. Ito, may 2.
Sir, sa arctangent po yan.
Arctangent? Why is it arctangent? Ulit, let me paste it here again. This is the formula. Arctangent, walang square root. Tatandaan yon. Walang square root. May square root to. So, hindi pwede sa 19. Hindi pwede sa arctangent. Okay, next, sa I-18. I-18, the constant term comes first before the variable. Alright? Hey. Ito, nauna yung variable na x kesa sa constant. So probably hindi rin siya I-18. What's the observation? It could probably be I-20. Sir, tingnan nyo naman. U square, naka-square. Hindi. Itong dalawang to are equal. Diba? Itong dalawang to are equal. Ito dapat hindi sila equal. So, hindi siya pwedeng maging I-20. But, a little manipulation, algebraic manipulation, we can achieve the form ng I-20. We can achieve I-20. Okay? And this is how it goes. Again, what am I telling you is that the u square should not always be an expression raised to an even power. Pwede din siyang odd power, like number 15, wherein u squared is equal to x cubed. So if u squared is equal to x, what is our u? X raised to 1 half. Okay? And then, what is your du? 1 half x raised to negative 1 half dx. Or 2 du is dx over x raised to negative 1 half. I will write it here. x raised to positive 1/2 or dx over square root of x. And that is our 2 du. You know that a is equal to 2. Then, sir, wala naman ako dito nakikita na square root. Then, lagyan natin. Dx all over, I will factor out x of the form square root of x, square root of x, square root of x minus 4. And I think we have already seen what we are looking for. Diba? Okay. Itong x raised to 1/2 is square root of x. Diba? You now have integral of dx. This dx at saka square root of x will come together. Okay? So you'll have dx over square root of x. And that will represent 2 du. All over, what is this square root of x? That will be represented by u. The square root of, what is x? That is represented by u squared. And what is 4? Our a squared. Diba? Clearly, that's of the arcsecant, I-20. Nasa I-20 na tayo. Diba? So you now have 2, 1 over a, arcsecant, u over a plus c. And then you now have 2 over a, what's a? 2. 2 over 2, arcsecant, u, what is our u? Square root of x, over a, 2 plus c. So you'll have arcsecant square root of x over 2 plus c. Any question, clarification? It's a matter of, taking a look on your given, analyze, and do something if you did not see the pattern or the formulas. So, kailangan, by hook or by crook, you can rewrite it papunta dun sa ating mga integration formulas. Questions? Violent reaction? Hello? Wala pa pala tayo diyang wala pa tayong definite integral. Mamaya ko nalalagyan. Any comments, any reaction, any question?
Wala po, sir.
Ay, na-remove ba ako? Oh. Put it here. Anyway, let's take another form of integrals leading to inverse trigo. This time, what if you have you encounter this one? Say dx number 17. Oops. Integral of dx all over 2x squared. Sige. Plus 2x plus 5. What did you notice? Let me paste again the formula. And then you analyze where it will lead us, to what it will lead us, to which formula, to what formula it will lead us.
Sir, arctan, sir.
Why is it arctan?
Sir, puro plus po eh. Tapos, puro may minus naman po yung I-18 at I-20.
It could be arctan, pero take a look on arctan. How many terms do you have here?
Dalawa lang.
Pwede sa I-18 kung magfa-factoring siguro.
Kung magpa-factoring. Pero, yung I-18 may square root, yung ating given sa number 17 walang square root. So, hindi I-18. Hindi rin I-20. So, probably, I-19. Tama? You're getting my point? You take a look physically how it is written, the structure of the given and the structure of the formula. Diba? It could not be I-18 because sa formula ng I-18, there is a square root on the denominator. But item number 17 does not include any square root. Same with I-20, there is a square root on the denominator. Pero yung ating given sa 17, wala namang square root. Ang last ang last pattern natin is yung I-19. Yung I-19, there is no square root on the denominator. Our given does not have any square root on the denominator. But their only difference is that the denominator only contains 2 terms on the formula, but the given contains 3 terms. Okay? Diba? As you can notice on our previous example, lagi lang silang 2 terms sa ilalim. X minus 4, x squared minus 4, 36 minus x cubed. Let's go on to the previous board. Diba? Hopefully, napapansin nyo yun. 5 minus x squared, x to the 6, 7x squared minus 16, 4 plus x to the 4, 4 plus sine squared x. Diba? Laging dalawang term lang. So, this group of example, I am now leading you to another technique. So, yeah, you're correct. It might lead us to I-19, pero we must have to do something. We must manipulate number 17 so that papunta tayo dun sa I-19. You get my point? Bakit nga I-19? Kasi we have not seen any square root on the given. I-19, there's no square root on the denominator. Ang ating problem does not contain any square root on the denominator. Alright? Okay? Now, let me just remove that. So, this time, you recall the completing the square. So, gagamit na tayo dito ng completing the square. Because our goal is to rewrite the denominator in 2 terms alone. So, again, this completing the square is only applicable for ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? But you have to make sure na yung a ay ilalagay niyo sa ilalim. Kasi you will be adding you'll be adding plus or minus b 1/2 and then square. Okay? So before you do that, you must factor out 2. You have integral of dx all over. Then you factor out 2 times x squared plus x plus 5 over 2. Okay? When 2 is factored out, you have 2x squared plus x plus 5 halves. And then you can throw out that 2 since that's constant. 1/2. Please take a look on the board. This is another technique. 1/2 integral of, then we can now, complete the square. So this is x squared plus x, then plus, let me write 5 halves here, and then minus. And then on that missing term, what we are going to add is b is 1. b is 1. This is the coefficient of x. Coefficient, alam ko naman na alam nyo ito. Coefficient of x. Okay? So that's 1/2 of 1, then square. And that would be 1/4. And this is what we are going to add and to subtract. We added 1/4, so we must subtract 1/4 at the end. And what will happen is that this first 3 term is a perfect square trinomial. So this is now a PST. Our perfect square trinomial. Ito naman, you just simply add this. What is the result? This will become, you multiply this by 2. 10 over 4. So 10 over 4 minus 1/4 is 9 over 4. So we have 9/4. Okay? So 1/2 integral of dx all over perfect square trinomial x. This is plus Square root of 1/4, 1/2 square. Then plus 9/4. And we can now let u square equals x plus 1/2. Then u square, then u is x plus 1/2. And then du is dx. And then a squared is 9/4. And a is the square root of 9/4. That's 3/2. And we can now plug it here. 1/2 integral of dx is our du all over. Then x plus 1 square is your u square plus 9/4 is your a square. And then you now have 1/a arctangent u over a plus c. Then palitan natin ng variable. 1/2. I forgot that 1/2. Sorry. One half times 1/a. 1/2 times 1 all over a, where a is 3/2. Then arctangent u, what is our u? X plus 1/2. Over 3/2. And then plus c. Then ayusin lang natin. Times 2 ha. So 1/2 times 1/3/2 can be written as 1/2 times, you take the reciprocal of this, 2/3. Then arctangent, you take the reciprocal of this, 2 times x plus 1/2 all over 3 plus c. Right? And then we can now simplify. That's 1/3. 1/2 times 2/3. Arctangent, then you introduce this to each term inside. 2x plus 1. 2 times x, 2 times 1/2. Over, copy, 3 plus c. Alright? Let me just remind everyone, ha, please do not use online calculator if I have not mentioned this last week, no? Kasi, lalo na dito. Kasi yung mga online calculator, yung mga math solver online, on the web, I know you are using that. I noticed that one on your problem set sa differential calculus. I know that you are using Math Wolfram, eMath Help, Symbolab, GauMath, Photomath, Brainly. I know all of them. No? So for this one, I am discouraging you to use those techniques kasi the online solver might give you different answer, but they are both correct, no? So ang problema, I cannot consider that answer kung ito yung lesson natin kasi hindi naman yung final answer ang chechekan ko. Ang chinechekan ko dito, boys and girls, is whether you obtain the intended learning outcome. Kung nasa-satisfy nyo ba yung ILO, di ba, diniscuss natin yun, yung ILO 1, ILO 2, ILO 3, no? I am, measuring you whether you're getting the ILOs or nasa-satisfy niyo yung mga ILO. Pagka halimbawa, for this one, pag ginamit niyo yung online solver, merong ibibigay siyang ibang sagot. And that answer, probably, gumamit siya ng special techniques of integration. Kasi mas madali kapag yun ang ginagamit. Lalo na dito sa inverse trigonometric function. Sir, paano po yun? Mali po ba yan? Tama yun. Ang problema, pag mineasure ko yung ILO, dahil iba yung binigay mong sagot, bagsak ka dito sa ILO na to. You're getting my point. Na? Meaning, kapag ang mineasure ko ay yung intended learning outcomes intended for inverse trigonometric function, bagsak ka doon. Kasi, ang kinopya mong sagot, yung binigay ng solver, ang ginamit ng solver ay special techniques of integration. I hope you're getting my point. Okay? Pero they are both correct. Hindi ko lang siya makikredit kasi naandito tayo sa topic na to. No? Like dun sa problem namin last time. Ang binigay ko ay integral of e to the x plus e to the negative x all over 2. So, yun yung same problem natin last time. I am doing it on a recitation. And then one of the students gave me an answer, sin hx, which is true naman, tama naman siya. The answer is sin hx. Pero, sabi ko, you use the calculator, no? Umamin siya and gumamit daw siya ng solver. Because nga, ang ibinibigay ng solver is the easiest method. No? Eh hindi siya pandot. Kasi hindi pa naman natin na-discuss ang integrals of hyperbolic functions. So how can I measure your intended learning outcomes for that? Na I'm not against with the solver, no? You can only use that for verification of your answer. Pero yun nga lang, if I measure your intended learning outcomes, I cannot give you a passing grade for that ILO kasi you're giving different answer to what we want to measure. Pero that's both correct. Hindi ko sinasabi na mali yun. Ang sinasabi ko lang, hindi siya appropriate para sa lesson natin. Okay, let's say for example, on quiz, sa quiz natin. So pagka binigyan ko kayo ng mga ganito, specifically this arc sign, itong number 15. Itong number 15, pag in-execute dito sa online solver, ang ibibigay na solution niyan is pang special techniques of integration. Now, particularly the trigonometric substitution, if I'm not mistaken. Ito din, number 17. Ang ibibigay nito yun sa trigonometric substitution. Pero, pag binigay ko siya sa quiz, I cannot consider your solution kapag ang ginamit mong technique ay yung special techniques of integration na trigo. Yun namang special techniques of integration, hindi pa natin na-discuss. So, I was looking on how you were able to use special techniques hindi pa natin na-discuss. So that's how I gave you grades, no? Hindi lang ako nagbabase sa final answer, but as much as possible we are measuring your intended learning outcomes. Hindi lang ito pang math for O2 sa lahat ng subject. Kaya mahirap para sa teacher kasi pag nag-i-score kami ng inyong mga major exam, hindi lang namin binibilang lahat, hinahati-hati namin yon. Bibilangin namin kung ilan ang score mo sa ILO 1. We will count how many points you got for ILO 2. So that's it. So yun. I know that. Alam ko yan. Some of you, siguro most of the students gumagamit ng mga online solver. It's okay. Walang problema yon. Yun nga lang. Please do not rely much on those applications. Baka kasi maging dependent kayo doon. I do not usually use calculator. As much as possible, I want to do it on my own. I want to do it by my hand. Medyo hindi naman sa sabihin na natin, may trust issue ako sa calculator. Minsan, napindot ko na sa calculator, tapos isosolve ko pa by hand. Something like that. So, I'm not very dependent on the applications sa calculator. Please do not be dependent on some online solver. Yun yung mga scenario na pwedeng mangyari dyan. You might give different methods which is not appropriate, which is inappropriate for the lesson. Lalo na dito. Yan. Kasi itong mga to, mas madali kung isosolve using special techniques of integration. Anyway, yun lang. Just a simple reminder. Baka sabihin nyo, hindi naman alam ni Sir na Alam ko yun. I can see that. And been teaching calculus for almost 12 years, 15 years. So alam ko na kapag ang sagot ay galing sa online solver, I can easily identify. I'm not saying naman nagayanin niyo yung solution ko You can still work on your own. Basta appropriate siya dun sa lesson na dinidiscuss natin. Anyway, ano pa bang form? Let's try this one from your module. Ito pala, buti naalala ko to. Ito, number 10. Oh my. Exercises naman siya. Sorry. Nasaan yan? Number 10. From the exercises on page, page 15. So integral of dx all over x plus x ln square x. Saan siya papunta? This is the formula. Nabura ko na. Sorry. Wala po. Probably tangent po kasi walang square root. Let's see. So what we're going to do here is you factor out x. integral of dx all over x times 1. Nalungkot kayo. Alam pala ni sir na nagamit kami ng solver. Plus ln square x. 1 plus, can you still hear me? Why are you so silent? Bigla kayong nalungkot nga. Can you still hear me? Can you still see
Sir,
me?
opo, sir. Panin ko po, sir.
Po, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, so you factor out x and you'll have dx all over 1 plus ln squared x. From here, you can now easily see that your u squared is ln x squared or ln squared x, and therefore u is ln of x. Okay, and then du is derivative of ln of x. That's dx over x, di ba? Okay, and then you now have a squared is equal to 1, and a obviously is 1. So this is now written as this dx over x that is represented by du. Okay, huwag niyong i-multiply. Nakakita kayo dito ng x sa ilalim, huwag niyong dadalhin dun ha. X du equals dx, kasi usually ganun ang ginagawa natin eh. Du equals 1 over 3 dx. Hindi natin kailangan to, dala doon. Do not do that. But basta after differentiating, tingin agad kayo sa given. Now, after you differentiate your u, you look on the given and then try to look for this. So you notice, ito yon. Okay? Kung halimbawa, may constant dito na 2, wala kayong makita doon na 2, saka nyo lang siya dadalhin doon. I hope you're getting my point. So you have dx over x is your du, all over 1 is your a square, plus ln squared x is your u squared. Diba? It's already in the arctangent. You have 1 over a arctangent u over a plus c. And that would be 1 over 1 arctangent ln of x over 1 plus c. O lagyan ko ng limit. ln x. E. I'll say 1 to e. 1 to e. Okay. Integral of dx all over x plus, ay, nako. Parang nasa problem set to eh. dx over x times 1 plus ln squared x, evaluated from 1 to e. From 1 to e. From 1 to e. And then simplify muna natin to. We'll have 1 over 1, that's 1. Arctangent, ln of x over 1. Evaluated from 1 to e. And we now replace x by e. Equals arctangent, ln of e, then minus arctangent, ln of 1. Okay? And you know that ln e is 1. So you have arctangent of 1 minus arctangent. You know that ln1 is 0. Okay, question. What is arctangent 1? Ang tanong dyan is, at what angle is tangent equal to 1? One more. At what angle is tangent equal to 1? So you're looking for tangent theta. You're looking for tangent theta equals 1. Kasi arctangent of 1. Saang angle ang tangent ay 1? That's the angle wherein the sine and the cosine function are equal. Parehas ang sine and cosine. Para sila'y maging equal. Para sila'y maging 1. At what angle? Ano lang naman yun eh, cosine 0. Cosine 0, sorry. 0. Pi over 6, pi over 4, pi over 3, pi over 2. Ano yung mga coordinates dito? 1, 0. Dito, square root of 3 over 2, 1 half. Dito, square root of 2 over 2, square root of 2 over 2. Sa pi over 3, that's 1 half square root of 3 over 2. Sa pi over 2, 1, 0. Saang angle dyan equal yung sine and cosine? Diba dito sa pi over 4, they are both square root of 2 over 2. So therefore, Given you calculate it using your calculator. You press on the calculator, arc tangent 1. Marunong bang pumindot? Shift tangent yan. So that would be pi over 4 or 45 degrees ang ibibigay niyang calculator niyo. That's pi over 4. Minus, what's arc tangent? 0. Saan ba 0 ang tangent? Eh, di sa 0. And that would be pi over 4. So marap na, no? Yung nga pong ganito pa lang, hindi na kami magkaintindihan. Nilagyan niyo pa ng limits. Di lalo na kaming nasiraan ng bata na. Just kidding. Okay? So, but you have to review all of this again. That's pi over 4. So, pag kinalkin nyo to, probably, bibigay niyan ay decimal or kung Casio FX991ES plus, it would be pi over 4. Or 45 degrees kung naka-degree measure kayo. Yun lang ha. You have to check the setting of your calculator whether it is on degree, yung nasa taas, D, o kaya ay R. Pag ang given ka ay ganito, mga pi over 4, so gagawin yung radian measure yung calculator niyo. Kasi iba yan kapag ginawa yung degree. Okay? Okay? You still there? Okay pa kaya? You need a break? Or diretso na po?
Sir, break po muna saglit.
I cannot post the recording. Yan.
Abo, sir.
Break tayo ng 5 minutes. You open your module, dun ako kumukuha ng mga items sa exercises. Okay na? Can we proceed now? Hello? Can you still hear me? You're still with me?
Opo, sir.
Next time, mag-recitation tayo. I'll be calling you one by one. Where am I? Okay. Let's continue working on. I'll be giving another example similar to the previous one. Hold on. Let me get it from our. This time, yung nasa loob naman ng square root. Hopefully, meron dito. Ito. Number 1. Oops, it worked pala to. Sorry. But it's okay, I think. Okay lang. Sige. Wala naman to sa problem. Okay. So this time we have dx all over. Nasa modulo ko ha. All over the square root of 8 plus 6x minus 9x squared. Again, we go back to the formula. Okay. When you take a look on the formulas, so lagi lang siyang binomial in terms and never trinomial. Okay? So it might, we might consider yung I-18 at saka I-20 because there is a square root on the denominator. So we now reject yung I-19 kasi there's no square root here. Okay? So we might only consider 18 and 19. But upon manipulation, I was looking on the possibility that it is I-18. Because of, there on I-20, there's u outside and wala naman siyang x doon. And I cannot pull out that x outside na. Wala akong mapapalabas na x outside. So that's why yun. You have to be very, very sensitive and you have to be very, very familiar on the different forms of the integral. Okay? So how are you going to do that? So first, you factor out negative 9. To have integral of, you factor out negative 9 first. Why is it so small? Because before you apply the completing the square, you have to make sure that the coefficient of x squared, y squared, z squared should be 1. Okay? That's the first thing that you need to consider. Yung coefficient ng x squared should be 1. So in this case, so you have to factor out negative 9 on the denominator, on the radicand, inside the square root, negative 9. And then this negative 9x squared will become positive x squared. And the 6x will become negative 6x over 9. Okay? And then that positive 8 will become negative 8 over 9. Okay? And then yung 9 na yon, pwede nyo na siyang itapon sa labas. Kasi, but leave negative 1 inside. Kasi you cannot throw it out. There's no such thing as a square root of negative 1 and that will give you I. So, okay? So, mamaya kasi, we will introduce this negative 1 each term inside again. So, yung lang 9 ang ilalabas natin. We have integral of dx all over 3 square root of negative, okay? And then, inside the parenthesis here, that is where we are going to complete the square. So, x squared minus 6 over 9x, and then plus, then minus 8 over 9 minus. Kung ano man yung i-add natin doon, we must also subtract it. And what is to be added? So you take half. You take half of negative 6 over 9. Okay, you multiply this by 1/2, and then you take the square of it. So what would that be? Negative 6 over 9 times 1/2 is negative 3 over 9, right? Am I right? Yeah, I think so. Or that's negative 1/3 square. Or that's negative 1/3. Okay, so that's negative 1 over negative 3 over 9 square, or that's negative 1/3 square. Okay, so we will be adding 1 over 9. So that's negative 1/3 squared. So that's 1 over 9. So we will be adding 1 over 9 here, and then we will be subtracting the same 1 over 9. Okay, and then again, bracket, inside the bracket, the first three term is a perfect square trinomial. So you shall have yung 3 pwede nyo itapon sa labas, 1/3 integral of dx all over square root of negative, right? X squared minus 6 over 9x plus 1 over 9 is x. Take the square root of x squared, that is x. You copy this middle sign, minus. You take the square root of 1 over 9, that's 1/3. Right? Ito yun. That's negative 1/3. Then square. And then minus, you will simply add this two. Negative 8 over 9 minus 1 over 9 is negative 9 over 9, and that would be 1. So that's negative 1. And then the next step is to introduce again this minus, because according to the formula, you look at the formula, so if our goal is to make it under yung arc sign, okay, so mauuna yung constant term before the expression, the variable u. Okay? So that can be done when you introduce the minus sign each term inside. So you'll have 1/3 integral of du all over. So negative 1 will become positive 1, negative, positive, minus. X minus 1/3 square. Okay? So ito palang 8. Ito palang 8 plus 6x minus 9x squared is just equal to 3 times the square root of this. Okay? And then from here, you can now let u be equal to x minus 1/3 square. And then u is x minus 1/3. And then du is dx. A square is 1. A is equal to 1. Alright? So you copy 1/3. Integral of du. But ito'y du, sorry. It's dx. It's dx. So it will now become du all over the square root of, what is 1? A squared. What is quantity x minus 1/3 square? That is your u squared. And that is our arc sign. Then you'll have 1 over 3 arc sign u over a plus c. And then you write it back to the original given. So you'll have 1/3 arc sign u over a. So u is x minus 1/3 over a is 1. You can ignore that. And then you add c. And that would be 1/3 arc sign x minus 1/3 plus c. Okay? And question, clarification, violent reaction. Bigyan ko na lang kayo ng bago. We still have 30 more minutes. Can you still hold on? Kaya mo, kaya niyo pa ba? Number 12. That's integral of 3x minus 5 dx all over x squared minus 6x plus 10. When you take a look on number 10 here, di ba? Or kahit yung number 7, number 1. Okay, bigyan ko muna kayo ng isang example other than this. I-reserve natin yan. Kuha ko ng isa pa. Number 9, I think. Okay lang. Z. Pwede. Ito na lang, number 4. Yeah, I think meron na tayo nun. Nasaan ba yun? Ito pala. Oh, wag na lang. Number ano na lang. You just refer to the problem number 17. Na. Ito. Ito. May sagot na tayo dito. Balik ko dito. Hold on. Look at number 7. Number 17. From our previous example. Okay. So you only have dx all over 2x squared plus 2x plus 5, and then you can just refer to the previous solution. Okay. Then you look at number 12. What's the difference? So kung yung number 12 has only x squared minus 6x plus 10, okay yon. You can apply this technique. Etong sa number 17. Okay. Let me do it. So you only have dx. I don't know the numbers now. Integral of dx all over x squared minus 6x plus 10. Okay? So again, what you're going to do, by completing the square, integral of dx all over x squared minus 6x plus, then plus 10 minus. What is to be added and what is to be subtracted? 1/2 of 6, yun yung i-add natin. 1/2 of 6, then quantity square. And that would be 6 over 2, 3 square, that's 9. So you add 9, you subtract 9. So you'll have integral of dx all over, this is a perfect square trinomial whose factor is x, take the square root of that, so that's x, then copy the sign, minus, then 9 square root 3 square. Then 10 minus, 10 minus 9 ta. 10 minus 9 is 1. So plus 1. So yun na, it's an arctangent. Let u square is x minus 3 quantity square. And u is x minus 3. Then a squared is 1, a is equal to 1. So ano na yung form? Integral of dx. That will be your du. Over x minus 3 square, your u squared. Plus 1 square, a square. So that's 1 over a arctangent u over a plus c. Right? So you'll have 1 over a, so that's 1 over 1. 1 over 1 arctangent x minus 3 over a plus c. Or arctangent x minus 3 plus c. Alright? So then you take a look on this item. The difference is what? Merong 3x minus 5 sa ibabaw. And how are you going to include that on the solution? Alright? Okay? So take a look on the board. Listen very carefully. This is a new technique, different from what I have taught you using the previous examples. Okay, iba to. So wala tong kagrupo sa mga previous examples ko. So itong dx over x squared minus 6x plus 10, they are of the same kind with this example, and with this example, number 17. Similar siya doon. Pero yung number 12, wala siyang katulad, wala siyang kagrupo. So this is what you're going to do. You take a look on the board, and I hope yung mga umalis, bumalik. Okay. Anong gagawin ko dito? Sorry. You consider x squared minus 6x plus 10. First step, you differentiate x squared minus 6x plus 10. And the derivative is 2x minus 6. Then second step is to look for an expression, equivalent to 3x minus 5 such that 2x minus 6 will appear. One more. Look or find na lang, or think, iisipin siya. Think an expression equivalent equivalent to the numerator, okay? The numerator, in this case, that's 3x minus 5, such that the derivative of the denominator will appear. In this case, that's, ano ang derivative niya? That's 2x minus 6. 2x minus 6. Okay? Think an expression equivalent to the numerator, that's 3x minus 5, such that the derivative of the denominator will appear, and that's 2x minus 6. Derivative of x squared minus 6x plus 10. Okay? So how are we going to do that? You have 3x minus 5 is equal to 2x minus 6. All right? To make this 2x minus 2x be equal to 3x, magmumultiply ako dito ng 3 over 2. Okay? So magmumultiply ako dito ng 3 over 2. So I shall now have 3 over 2 times 2x is 3x. 3x na siya. Okay? And then 3 halves minus times negative 6. 3 over 2 times negative 6. So that would be 3 times negative 6 is negative 18. Divided by 2, that's 9, negative 9. Okay? Oops. Why? Left. This is 3x minus 5. You copy 3x minus 5. And then you copy the derivative of x squared minus 6x plus 10. That's 2x minus 6. Then come to think of an expression when multiplied to 2x minus 6 will give you 3x. And that is 3 over 2. Okay? 3 over 2 times 2x is 3x. 3 over 2 times negative 6 is negative 9. Okay? What is to be added here to make negative 5? This is negative 9. So you must add plus 4. Tama? Plus 4 to make 3x minus 5. Alright yan? So again, so the 3x minus 5 here shall be replaced by 3 halves 2x minus 6 plus 4. Okay? So we can now replace the given as integral of 3x minus 5 is to be replaced by 3 halves 2x minus 6, all right? And then plus 4. Ito yung ipinapalit ko. Sorry. Okay, so that's 3 halves 2x minus 6 plus 4. All over, we just copy everything. X squared minus 6x plus 10. 3x. And then what comes next is to divide, to distribute the denominator by each term on the numerator. One more. Distribute x squared minus 6x plus 10, each term on the numerator. So you shall have 3 halves integral of 2x minus 6 all over x squared minus 6x plus 10 dx. Then plus 4 integral of dx all over x squared minus 6x plus 10. And then you will observe that this will give you an ln function. This will lead you to an ln papunta sa integral ng du over u. And then ito, you can use the result of the previous example. Ito na siya. Alright? Ito na. Yung second term. Dx over x squared minus 6x plus 10. Ito na siya. Okay, so ilalagay ko lang dito. Refer to the solution above. Okay? So bakit nga ito magiging ln? Because the derivative of x squared minus 6x plus 10 is 2x minus 6. When you let u be equal to x squared minus 6x plus 10, your du is 2x minus 6 dx, which you can see it here. Then you now have 3 halves. Okay? 3 halves, integral of 2x minus 6 dx is du. All over, what is this? Your u. So that's 3 halves ln of u, all right? Or 3 halves ln of x squared minus 6x plus 10. Okay? Plus, hindi pa ito tapos, ito, i-complete nyo yung square. Okay? So, plus 4 integral of. When you complete the square, you can refer to the solution above. So, that is x minus 3 squared plus 1. Okay? Ito pala ay x minus 3 squared plus 1. Okay? Then, 4, what is this? Arctangent. Okay, x minus 3, then plus c, and you're done. Plus 4, arctangent, x minus 3 plus c. And that's the final answer. Right, question? Medyo tricky lang to ng konti, no? You just take a look on the given and, observe kung paano siya sinusolve. Still, hindi pa tayo lumalayo dun sa ating topic. Ito lahat ay naglilid papuntang inverse trigonometric function. Question, clarification? A. May tanong? Hello? You still there?
Opo sir, nandito pa po.
Mayroong question? O gawin natin sa sign. Let me think of an example. Medyo mahirap lang mag-isip ng example ng grupo na yan. It must be consistent dun sa form. So you have x dx. O sisimplihan ko lang. Not the form na 3x minus 5. Hindi yung mga gaya nun. X na lang. Oops. And this time I'll do it in arc sign. X dx all over 3 minus 2x minus x squared. Okay? You do the same. Na? Nihina na yung internet ko yata. Nasaan na ako? Okay. So you get 3 minus 2x minus x squared because there's an x on the numerator. Okay? Kapag wala yung x na yan, diretso na kayo sa completing the square. So, but there's an x on the numerator, so you must apply the same thing. First, you differentiate. This will be the last example for today. You differentiate 3 minus 2x minus x squared. And that would be negative 2, right? Negative 2 minus 2x. Okay? So we will be rewriting x such that negative 2 minus 2x will appear. One more. Negative 2 minus 2x is the derivative of 3 minus 2x minus x squared. And you are going to rewrite x. You think of an expression equivalent to x such that negative 2 minus 2x will show up. Okay? So you get x. equals negative 2 minus 2x. Okay, para maging positive x to, magmumultiply ako ng negative 1 half. Right? Kasi when I multiply negative 1 half times negative 2x, I only have x. So I have negative 1 half times negative 2 is positive 1. Okay? That's positive 1. The negative 1 half times negative 2x is positive x. So meron akong x dito. But there's still 1 here. I must subtract 1. So I need to subtract 1 so that x na lang siya. So what happened? This x shall be replaced by this thing. Ito ang pamalit natin sa x. Right? So you now have integral of x, that's negative 1 half, negative 2 minus 2x minus 1, that is your x, then dx all over the square root of 3 minus 2x minus x squared dx. And then what comes next? Paghihiwalayin. So you factor out negative 1 half, integral of, then you copy negative 2 minus 2x all over the square root of 3 minus 2x minus x squared dx. Then minus 1. Minus 1, let me just write it there, minus 1, integral of dx all over the square root of 3 minus 2x minus x squared. And this will now give you an arc sign. And this will lead you to a power formula, u to the n du. Okay? How? By setting u, no? By setting u equals 3 minus 2x minus x squared. And du is negative 2 minus 2x dx. And you see it right here. Okay, allow me to do the first term first. Negative 1 half, integral of. Negative 2 minus 2x dx is your du. All over the square root of. What is this 3 minus 2x minus x squared? U. Negative 1 half, integral of, itataas ko. U, negative 1 half du. Then integrate. Negative 1 half, u, negative 1 half plus 1, 1 half, get the reciprocal, 2. And then you now have negative u raised to 1 half is square root of u. Negative square root of 3 minus, ito yung u natin, 2x minus x squared. And we are done with the first term. For the second term, magko-complete tayo ng square sa loob para maging arc sign. Plus dx all over, I will factor out negative 1. Okay? And then this negative x squared will become positive x squared. This negative 2x will become positive 2x. And this positive 3 will become negative 3. And then sa loob ng bracket, we will complete the square. A plus integral of dx all over the square root of negative x squared plus 2x, 1 half of 2, that's 1, square, 1 pa rin. So plus 1, minus 3, then you subtract the same thing, minus 1. Okay, the first term is a perfect square trinomial, and then you just simply add this. So plus integral of dx all over, let me just erase this part. All over the square root of, that minus sign, ipasok nyo ulit sa loob. Perfect square trinomial muna pala, sorry. Negative x squared plus 2x plus 1 when factored out is x plus 1 square. Then negative 3 minus 1 when added, negative 4. And then you can now introduce that minus sign each term inside. So this is negative 2 square root of u, then plus integral of dx all over the square root of negative 4 will become positive 4 when this minus 1 is introduced each term inside. Minus, you simply copy x plus 1. And this will give you an arc sign. Na? So how? U square is x plus 1 square So u is x plus 1. And du is dx. And you have a squared is 4, sorry. And a is equal to 2. So nasa form to ng arc side. So you now have negative 2 square root of x 8, 3 minus 2x minus x squared plus arc sine u, what is our u? X plus 1 over a over 2 plus c. And you're done. Alright? So that's negative 2 times the square root of 3 minus 2x minus x squared plus arc sine x plus 1 all over 2 plus c. No? And I think that is where I want to finish. No? It's already 2:41. Okay lang? Advance naman kayo. Kayo yung pinakauna among my 8 classes.